Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we've got this Poulan Pro. Decal's missing, but it used to say Poulan Pro. This is going to be a resale unit, so we're going to go over the whole thing and check it out. And I already put air in this tire to get it in here, and it's low again, so obviously it needs a tube. Poulan Pro looks like a Craftsman, is built like a Craftsman. The parent company Husqvarna owns the Poulan name. They own AYP, that's who used to make the Craftsman tractors. So it's an AYP, and so are the Husqvarnas, and so are the old Craftsmans. It's even got Craftsman part numbers, AYP part numbers for the belts and stuff. So that's all common for the old, say the LT1000 Craftsmans, very, very common. So this one has it's a 185A42LT. Okay, so 185 is 18.5 horsepower, 42 is your deck. I don't know what the rest of it means, but I know it's hydrostatic, and I do have a deck for it. It's just not on the tractor right now. We'll have to go over that and do bearings and blades and everything anyways. So yeah, 18.5 horse single cylinder Briggs. Let's jump in, see what we figure out. Okay, so I popped the hood off so I can get to it and you guys can see better. And it's stone cold, it's been sitting outside forever. As far as I know, this was a runner. I think it ran when I got it. I don't remember. I don't know. I got lots of mowers out there. Well, judging by the code number, it's a 2014 model. And because it's cold, I want to check the valves. We'll do that because you got to do it when the engine's cold. Like I said, I think it runs. I don't remember. So I've got the old crusty spark plug out of there. We can turn the engine over easy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it, well, that's loose, that's nice. So I'm going to look down there with my flashlight and just spin that push rod, make sure it's not bent. Perfect. And let's turn this over. So this one's all the way down, which means this one should be all the way relaxed. This is an aluminum push rod down here. And not bent. Okay, that's good. So they're not bent. Let's just check our lash adjustment. I'm going to use a 5 thou feeler blade, and it's perfect. Let's get her spun over. Now this one's down, this one's completely loose. Again, 5 thou. That's a little loose. That's our exhaust valve. It's supposed to be a little looser than the intake, but that's pretty loose. Let's see if we can cheat her a little. Not that one, we can't. Sometimes you don't have to move the locks. A little lock in there. Sometimes you can just tighten the rock arm a little. Well, that was far too tight. 5 thou. That's a little snug. Perfect. That's it. That's all I'm going to do with it. They're not bent, and the clearance is acceptable. So that's where we're going to start. Like I said, I think it's a runner. I think it already ran when I bought it. I believe my helper Warren picked this up for me. He'll go shopping on the interwebs for mowers for me, and he'll pick them up if they're out in his area. I think this is one of those deals. I don't remember because I don't remember going to get this one. Anyways, I'm going to clean this gasket surface off here. It's got silicone on it. We're just going to put a gasket on it because I got them, and it's cleaner and faster. And we'll come back and check out a couple other things. All right, moving on. Here we got a screen, and we've got a carburetor with the limiting cap removed from the idle mixture screw. I don't know. Somebody's been monkeying with it. Let's get rid of this rubbish. I don't like those screens. I like to be able to see what's going on inside the filter. So we'll get the hose pincher off our pliers on there. Let's remove this crappy screen. Move that way up there because we're going to put a valve in here too. Oh, almost got in my mouth. Valve. There's an arrow on it. Flow that way. Let's make it flow that way. Okay, valve is in. There is a little bit, oh, that line is garbage. Right where I squished it with those pliers is collapsed. Well, poo. Well, what we'll do is we'll just drain off the little bit of gas that's in there. And we will replace the line. Let's get this side off. It's off. Yep, screen in there is just fine enough to stop gravel and squirrels. So, yeah, let's get something better in there. I wonder if there's any water in that. Could be. Best let that marinate for a little, and we'll see what happens. Let's get our new valve out of there because we're going to change the line. Valve out, and some more come out. That's okay. And needle nose to reach in there. Get the line off the bottom of the tank. I know, I'm in the way. And more is coming out. Why is more coming out? Come on. That's off, and yet even more is coming out. Just bought 1/4 inch hose. We're going to match that length because I actually thought that was a little short, so we're just going to match it up. And then when we put the filter in line and the valve, it'll give us just a little more length. Beautiful. Let's transfer our clamps over. Uno. Dos. Let's get it on the tank. Get back here. Yeah. Okay, that's on. Let's get the clamp back on there. Clamp is on. We can put our valve back in, wherever you guys put it. There it is. Following the direction of the arrow. I don't know for sure why, but there's a directional arrow on it. So it's going to get installed the way they want it installed. I don't know why. Not sure. Okay, let's get that clamp on there. And we're still going to get a little short piece of hose to install our filter, the filter. So we need a piece on here. This line is very tight. You don't actually need clamps on this line. It's a vacuum or a gravity system. If it was a fuel pump system, I would consider making sure that there's... Well, that's way longer. Ah, boy. Well, that gets a piece too. Anyways, I was saying, if it had a fuel pump on it, I would be more concerned with putting clamps on all the joints. Because on one side it's making pressure, on the other side is pulling a vacuum. If you have a slight little leak at a hose, it will give you grief. It won't pull a vacuum. Let's get a hose clamp back on this one. Get it fitted to the filter. And I like that much. That's how much I'm putting on. Clamp on that end. Slide this one over. Yoink! It was already there, might as well use it. And back on the carburetor. I definitely like the valves. Saves filling the engine full of gasoline if the needle and seat aren't 100% in the carburetor. Just shut this off every time you use it, then you don't have to worry about it overflowing. It works great. All right, well, let me clean up the gas that's all over the bench here. We might just put some fuel in this and a battery and give her a whirl. It does have oil in it. It's black and it's a little bit low. We're gonna change it anyways. It's got a Briggs & Stratton filter on it, so either somebody put an OEM filter on it or it's never been changed. I'm assuming it's never been changed because people are religious about changing their oil in the cars, but when it comes to lawn equipment, not so much. So let me clean up and we'll get the camera turned around here and figure out what's going on. Well, let's see if it does run. I'm gonna splash the gas in there. New spark plug. Turn the valve on. Got no flow yet, but I don't know, the bowl could be full. I don't know. Got a booster pack on it. Let's give it some choke. Turn the key. Need a little more pedal? Yep. Runs just fine. There's gonna be a little bit of smoke burning off. We got some oil on there. Oh, I don't like that noise. Let's figure out what that is. I think we got a belt hung up. The mower belt is off. It's not even there. But it could be the drive belt. The routing appears to be okay. Yeah, not sure what's going on there. Could be the drive belt. Huh. Weird. I'm gonna fire it up again and see what happens. Some muffler squeaking. Actually, it runs pretty good. I'm gonna let this run a little bit. I'll let it warm up so I can change the oil and the filter off. Well, something ain't right. It was. It's the next day. I was gonna fire it up and drive it out and get the deck in here and work on that, but so I put a battery in it instead of running on the booster, and it cranked over. And like this morning, I started it, no problem, checked it, yeah, it's all good. So then I put the hood on it to get the stuff out of here to get the deck in, but fired it up, and it started to make this clunking noise, and there's sparks shooting out from underneath the engine cover, and it just stopped. So something's wrong. We gotta pull the top of this engine off. Either the coil's hitting the flywheel magnet or the magnets have broken off inside the flywheel and jammed it up. So I hope there's not too much damage. Let's jump in here and have a look, grab some tools and start pulling stuff apart. Just, it just can't be easy all the time. Could be the starter Bendix stuck in there. I don't know yet. We're gonna find out. Oh, there's gonna be hardware everywhere. I got another engine apart over there, and it's gonna be just stuff everywhere. That one, got two in the back. One's missing in the front. Don't remember if the air filter is gonna come off or not. New air filter. Yeah, there's a little screw there. Yeah, one little screw here. All right, anyways, I'm gonna get the top of this engine off. I'll turn the camera back on and we'll see what happened. All right, so I got you on a little road trip here. Got the cover off. Well, it's not the coil. What I did see is this piece of magnet stuck to the outside of the flywheel. Another chunk of magnet. Stator magnets are shot. The alternator. Ah, boy, I don't have a spare flywheel for this. This is two in 2 days now. This breaks, blown the magnets off it. That old 16 horse twin, that's why it's in the shop. Blew the flywheel magnets off it. What is going on with this garbage? I gotta try and find a flywheel for this. I did glue the other magnets back on that twin over there, but yeah, boy. Needs a flywheel. Just before I go popping this stuff apart here, I just wanted to show you guys that some of these flywheels are threaded. You can use a puller on them. I don't think I've ever seen anybody on YouTube using a puller, but they just usually put a, and I do the same thing. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. That's a perfectly good way to take it off, but usually you get a little pry bar underneath here, give it a little bit of upward pressure, and you whack the center with a hammer, putting the nut on there, make sure you protect the threads or whatever. But in any case, the puller actually works like that. And there's zero chance you're going to bugger up the threads. Well, there's the flywheel. Carnage. What a mess. All the magnets are knocked off because something got bound up in there, and like one fell off and then they all just came off. Oh boy. Hopefully it didn't wreck the stator. These are just shredded. There's nothing left of these. There's no gluing these back on. Well, the stator looks okay. I don't see any damage to it. Well, it's been knocked here a little bit, but well, time will tell. I'm gonna order a flywheel because I can't fix that one. It's not worth scrapping the machine because it needs a flywheel. I mean, it's a resale machine. I got to put a little money into it to sell it. So, well, yeah. I'm not sure when I'll get back to this one now because now I got to get parts. Maybe we'll move on to something else today. I don't know. Stay tuned, guys. We'll figure it out. Yeah, stator doesn't look too bad. Or alternator, stator, whichever. Same difference. So, I was sitting at the desk there searching for flywheels for $250. Sheesh. Then I remembered, oh hey, I got something outside here. Nope, none of them. Massey Ferguson. Made by Simplicity. She's got a Briggs 18 horsepower engine in it. That motor's locked up. Customer ran it without oil and boogered the motor. But that might be the same flywheel as what we have. We're going to take it off and figure it out, but yeah, this this was the first resale tractor I ever did. Purchased and fixed and resold. That one need a head gasket, a bunch of stuff, but anyways, it's back because it's junk. But we're going to take this off. I'm going to pop that flywheel off and see if that's the same as what we got in there. Fingers crossed. All right, so I got the other flywheel off. This is the one off the tractor outside, and there's the key from it. Definitely shifted. That engine came to an abrupt stop and the flywheel didn't. Anyways, physically they should actually interchange. However, there's a problem. The magnet is here on this flywheel, the magnet is here on this flywheel. The keyway on this one is pointed in that direction, and the keyway on this one is pointed in that direction. Can't use it. It won't fire right. Timing will be way off. Well, that sucks. And why would they do that? It means the crankshafts are actually different too because the keyway's in a different location. Why would they do that? It costs more money to change things. Just keep it the way it was. Oh boy. Well, back onto the hunt for a replacement flywheel. I do have a part number, and I can find them. It's just, geez, they're $200 and something, $250. A lot of money. But look at this. This one is pristine underneath. Absolutely pristine. You can see all the epoxy still on the magnets. Magnets are clean. There's no rust. There's no... That sucks. This one here, I don't know. The magnets are all loose, but there is no evidence of any glue or epoxy holding these magnets in. So what was holding them on? Hopes and dreams? I don't understand. All right, so while we're waiting for the flywheel to get here, because I ordered one, $300 and something. I got the deck in here, and let's go over that, and we'll get this tuned up, ready to go. Just gonna check bearings and everything. That's an idler pulley, that's perfectly fine. That bearing will be fine. There's no play in them. Let's release the brakes. There we go. Hold that with one finger. We'll spin this one. It's a little growly. Not real bad though. Let's see if there's any up and down play. No. Let's try that one. No, it's not too bad. It's right there, eh? Like, no, it's gonna get a bearing. That one is for sure, anyway. Yeah, you know what? They're a little growly. Let's just do bearings. Deck's in good shape. There's surface rust here that was painted over before I bought the tractor, but there's no rot holes. The mounting tab at the front, your front hanger, that's all fine. The blades are worn, so it's going to get new ones, but it's in decent shape. We'll give it a little turn sideways so we can work on one end at a time just to change these spindles out. We get our blades out. I'm just going to replace the blades. I do stock them. Here, we should be able to get the blade off of there. I'm going to take this nut off and we'll see if we can get everything pushed out the bottom first. Let's get that spring off there so we don't have to deal with that. There we go. That should almost stay out by itself. Could zip tie it too. From here to here. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll just zip that over like that. That ensures that the brakes, these brake pads are released. Gives us a little more room to work. Okay. Let's get that boy off of there. 7/8. Yep. Yep. Let's get the nut back on there so we don't wreck anything. Yes, I know it's a rubber mallet, but you can still bend stuff with it. That just took 2 hands. Yeah, that's not in good shape. Huh. Little spacer goes under it. There we are. Shaft's in fine shape. Let's drive the bottom one out. No spacer in this spindle. Not like the MTD designs. MTD will have a bearing here and then a spacer and another bearing on top. So when you do tighten all the nut and everything, it doesn't tend to push the bearings together. This one here, on this shaft, that top edge, the bearing sits on that. So there, this is your spacer. And you can see the blade is, well, there's our sharp edge. It's kind of, whoop. It's just gonna get new ones. These should just be a 5-star, like a 5-point star on them. Just gonna punch through there and drive that other bearing out so I can get a number off it and see if I have one. She's out. Oh yeah, the seal came out with it. It's a seal for the bearing. We shouldn't be able to see those. 6204. Yep, got them. I'll flip it over. Well, I don't need to. I'm just gonna push that bearing in from the bottom. Yes, 5/8. And it is a 5-point. Common AYP stuff. And I believe I had a video before where I showed these weird concave washers. They're required to have that type of washer so everything tightens up properly. That's a mulching blade. Should have one. All right, well, I did find a couple of blades to use in stock. Got these notched high lift blades. AYP number for these is 138971. So that's what we're going to use because that's what it says actually under the hood of the tractor, to use that number. So let's get that back on there. We'll just zip this back on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to hammer it up into the spindle. Good and tight. We'll get that new bearing on there. Should be able to tap that down there carefully. It'll tap in when we get through the spindle. There we go. I should be able to tap this up there. It'll seat all the bearings and everything as it goes, which it is. Yep, noise changed, it's home. Spacer. Pulley, which I did fix the notches in. It's gonna need just a little tap to get it down. Or the nut. I should run everything home. Let's give it a shot. Quiet. Nice and quiet now. Pulley's fine. Let's move on to the next one. Well, that's not good. This pulley's boogered. the splines, those little notches that are supposed to actually lock the pulley to the shaft, the splines are gone. I can hold the blade and turn the pulley. Well, I might have some in stock. I'll have to look. But if not, I'm just going to order 2 pulleys because that one's iffy. The other one's okay. Like, I'm sure it'll work. But if I'm going to order one, I'll just order both. I'll just do both. It never ends. This bearing is loose. And it's out. Notchy. Let's get that one driven out. Okay. Bearing stayed in. We'll knock that out. That's out. This bearing is a different size. We'll have to see if I have one of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to price compare the cost of bearings, cost of pulley, cost of everything. And I'm going to see if it's in my interest, my best interest, to just pick up a spindle and just replace the entire spindle. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do a cost comparison on that and see what's best, because there's something going on here. It's not the exact same. It doesn't have that concave washer. I'm not sure what's going on with it. It's missing a dust shield. Yeah. Let me figure that out. I'll turn the camera back on. All right, so I've decided I'm not going to put a new spindle in it. It's 40 bucks or whatever, 50, 60, I don't know. But I've got the parts to fix this one, so let's just fix this one. So we'll do the bearing in this. What it is why this one is different and it doesn't have the concave washer, is because this is already an aftermarket pulley, and they designed this a little different. So the star on this, you can see how high it is. The aftermarket one, the star is a little lower than the standard one, the stock one. The OEM version is a little taller, which means if you put the blade on there, on the OEM one, the star sticks above the blade. So if you put a flat washer on there and a bolt, the blade will still rock on it. The aftermarket spindle, this star is a little lower, and putting a brand new blade on it, I don't know, I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick it up, but that star is actually below the blade. So putting a flat bolt on there, a flat washer, is going to work perfectly fine. And that's what we're going to do. So, let's do that. Get that blade bolted on there. Is that right side up? Yep. Good and tight. So it's a 6204 bearing on the bottom, 6203 bearing on the top, but there's more than one of these. That's the 6203. The OD is the same between them, but the ID is different. I have a couple of different styles, and this is the one that fits on there. And you can see that it sits right on that shoulder. Come on. So no need for a spacer in there because these bearings cannot migrate together. So that's that. I did order a couple of pulleys though, because they're gone. They're no good. Well, let's get that tapped in there just a little. That'll seat our lower bearing and everything. I'm gonna just assemble it with the old pulley, just to pull the bearings together. And then we'll replace the pulley when it comes in. Grab hold of that blade, there we go. There, everything's pulled together nice and tight. Pulley is still, actually that pulley's stuck now, but I'm still gonna replace it because it's not right. Nice and quiet. Beautiful. When the pulleys come in, that's a quick job. Take the two nuts off, just change the pulleys out, put them back together. All right, and we didn't even get this finished. Waiting on parts for this too. Well, it's gonna be a few days, but we'll get the parts in and we'll finish the project up. Well, it has been several days, oh, probably week and a half anyways. Got a new flywheel. They didn't even give us a key. This aluminum key, they didn't even send one with a flywheel. I guess you get what you pay for $270 whatever dollars it was. Anyways, so I threw the old flywheel out already, and yeah, I wanted to verify that the keyway and the magnet is the right position. So I just went back through video footage, and yes, there's the magnet. This is the key position right here. This is the one that needs to go on the tractor. Yes, so we're going to do that. We'll put a new key in it and hope for the best. Cross our fingers. Let's get you zoomed out a little bit. Turn. Where are we looking there? Okay. So far, I did blow everything out with a blowgun. I've got the coil completely off, out of the way. While it was off, I just cleaned the terminals. I wanted to inspect the stator for damage. It appears to be okay. There's a little bit of plastic that's pulled here, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. It seems to be okay. I did put the flywheel on there loose without a key in it, and I turned it around on its on the cone here, on the taper, and it didn't hit anything. So we're going to hope for the best there. Starter gear's in good shape, and it's tight, not like the other one where the bolts are falling out on John Deere. And there should be no problems here. Let's get our flywheel. Line up that key. Key way anyways. Let's drop our key in there. Oh, yeah. Shift it on me a little. Get you to go in there. I just need you to go in. There you go. Whoop. In it goes. In she goes. I'm gonna turn it over. You're going to hear the compression stuff. I don't hear it hitting anything. No noise. Excellent. Let's get this on there. Get our coil lined up. So I'm going to pull the coil away from the flywheel and just snug these down. Just snug, because we just wanted to hold it away from the magnet while we get the magnet lined up. Snug. Get this animal turned around. Center the magnet. This magnet, we'll center it in the coil. Let me get that torqued. Got all this mess put down there. What do we got? There's that. That's going to line up in a certain way. Where's our notch? There's two bumps underneath here. They do line up there. Perfect. Some of these, sometimes this cup has a little notch on it that has to sit in a notch. This one does not have that, so. What size is that? Torque spec on that is 100 foot-pounds. It says so in the instruction book that came with the flywheel kit. So, $85, $90, $100. Perfect. Under-torqued is more critical than over-torqued. Over-torqued is, I mean, you're going to have some serious effort in order to break that bolt, but under-torqued is more of a problem on that than over-torqued. If it's under-torqued, it'll shear that flywheel key, and then you're not going to run right. Well, of course, now it's too thick, it won't fit in there. Sacrifice another card. Get you down in there again. There we go. This side actually loosened off on me. There we go. Tight. This side's fine. Okay. Roll it out of there. We should be gapped. That should be just fine. Plug's still in it. It's hard to turn. Not hitting anything. Yeehaw! Well, I'm confident enough. I just went ahead and put all the cover on anyways. That way we can at least run it without fear of overheating it, because you need the covers on to get the airflow to over the cylinder heads to keep them cool. Let's see what happens. Fuel on. choke. Ready? Go. Runs pretty good. Nice and quiet, actually. Okay, we're gonna call that done. What's left? What do we gotta do? Oh, that's the wrong out. I'll have to bring the deck back in here. I've got new belt for it. We gotta hang it up. All the pulleys. Yeah, I think that's it. So that's what I'm gonna do is I'll put that little air deflector or air guidance device on there. Air filter cover. Put the hood back on. And then I'll roll the deck in and slide it up underneath the tractor there. I did notice that, well, it's been out there for a week and a half and this tire is flat, so it needs a tube. We'll put a tube in it as well. Well, here we are. Finished project. Got myself some custom Poulan Pro decals for it because they were missing. It looks better with something on it. Anyways, runs like a top. Deck's rebuilt. Everything that needs to be done is done and is ready for the spring. Well, other than a wash. Springtime rolls around, I've got a whole fleet of things I got to wash. You know, the Master Ferguson, got a Mastercraft, Poulan, Craftsman, Mastercraft, Craftsman, Husqvarna, Craftsman, yard machines, and other yard machines in the shop. Anyways, back to this one. It's a decent unit. It's built just like the older Craftsman's. Actually, it's built very, very similar to this style of Craftsman or the LT1000. But yeah, should be great for the next owner. Thanks for joining me, guys. I do appreciate you guys watching my videos. Leave me a comment down below. I'd like to hear from you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you do subscribe, click that bell icon to let you know when I upload new stuff. Until the next one, take care.